Hi everyone, welcome back to my Jamaican Food Forest. But today we are not in the garden, we are in the kitchen. Today we're going to be looking at some common household ingredients that you can use in your garden as fertilizers and natural pesticides. In my Jamaican Food Forest, my aim is to keep an organic garden. And I just don't want to have an organic garden. I want to have a garden that I am making the inputs that go back into my garden. I like to say that my garden is a closed system because I don't get rid of any leaf or weeds or anything that I don't need. You could say I don't need that is organic. I try and make it back into something. So I'll make compost teas with my weeds. I will make ashes with some of my leaves and dried branches, or I will put them in the compost bin. I'll put grass clippings, things that we would usually consider waste and send away to the dump. We can always recycle and keep those nutrients within our garden system. Now, today we have here, just to introduce a few of them that I have, that we all more than likely have in our kitchen that we can be using instead of the chemicals and reducing our expenses by buying, even say we're buying organic, this and that. We can use what's in the kitchen. So let's look at some of what we have. So we have here one that I love, the banana peel. So these are my ripe banana peels here that whenever we eat ripe bananas, we save the peel. I'll say we, because my husband has been good at saving the banana peels now. Thank him very much. But we have the banana peels and we dry them. I just simply put them in a pan like this, and I'll put it out in the sun and get them dry and crispy. And then I will put them in my little coffee grinder and I'll powder them, and then I'll have that. And I'll usually mix it with something like molasses and water to make a tea, a banana peel tea. And that is high in potassium, guys, which will help with your flowering and fruiting of your plants. Also, we have Epsom salts. This is a good source of magnesium for your garden, which is very important. And it also, if your leaves aren't looking so nice and green and vibrant, some Epsom salts will do the trick. I also have, which we all have, everyone has, we're cooking at home, our vegetable peelings, all right? Let's not throw these out. This is rich in lots of nutrients. This is like gold. So we shouldn't be throwing this out. Put it in your compost pile, start a worm bin, feed it to the worms. If you have chickens, get some chickens if you can. If you have chickens, they love to munch on this. So everything stays within your system. All right, another one that we have, baking soda. This one is super important. Keep this around. This can help to neutralize your soil. If you have acidic soil, it can help to neutralize your soil. And this one I'm just never without. I have my little container of baking soda, so when I'm mixing up, it's good to prevent fungal issues, especially on your cucumbers, your tomatoes. Don't do without that. Another one that's a good one, which in Jamaica we eat this very often, rice. All right. So you look at making things like your rice water and fermenting it, and even adding something like milk to that, and you get something that the plants will just love, and you'll see the results when you use like your rice water. And when we're washing our rice, just save the water. As I say, nothing should be going to waste. And of course, our molasses here. We spoke about molasses with the banana peel tea. But this one helps to feed the beneficial microbes in the soil. And when you use this, you'll find that your plants just do so much better. So don't be without your molasses. Also, when you're making your seaweed emulsions and your fish emulsions, this is an important ingredient. So your seaweed and molasses, or your fish heads and guts and scales with your molasses, you get beautiful emulsions that will just make your garden blow up with good stuff, like just grow really well. So these are some of the things we have in the kitchen that we can use as natural fertilizers. Then we come over here, pesticides. That's one of the things we will always have, are the insects. And I like to think, and I think I've experienced it before, that once you have healthy plants, really healthy plants, the insects will stay away from them, because the insects, they have their purpose. We wonder, man, why did God make these things? But they're actually here for a very good reason. They are here to take out the diseased and the stressed plants. So if your plant is really growing nice and healthy, they will stay away. Just like our bodies, when we are really healthy, disease will stay away. But once we are stressed and not healthy, not eating well, disease will come in. So once you have healthy plants, a healthy garden, healthy soil, the insects won't bother them as much. But in the event that it does, we don't need to go towards the chemicals. So we have some solutions here. Simple thing like our peppers, we can make pepper sprays. Just like how it will burn us and it's an irritant to the insects as well. Garlic, things like garlic, onion, ginger, you can use those as natural deterrents. And we also have a simple one, which we all have, oil. Now you can do neem oil, that's perfect. But just even if you don't have neem oil, your regular cooking oil, vegetable oil, it can act as a smothering agent for the insects, for a lot of the insects. So just your regular cooking oil along with some dishwashing liquid, which will add as a sticker. You can always just use that. You have them there available. We all have these things available. The only advantage over the oil now with the neem oil is that the neem oil has ingredients that will interrupt the reproductive cycle of the insects. So that's a good thing. Another one that's we have cornmeal. We can also use that as a deterrent for like your slugs and ants, and it's a good one to use as well. Cinnamon also can act as a pesticide, and also a fungicide as well. Your cinnamon, your bear, good for catching your slugs to set bear traps. And this is also, I would also put this over on this side. It's also a good fertilizer. And then we come back to the milk, which should be over here. All right, so we have our milk, and then vinegar. This is a good one to get rid of like weeds. You can always use your vinegar, which we probably most all households will have the white distilled vinegar. Use that up. Another thing you may have at home, which if you don't have, you can make it, is ashes. So this one is good to repel insects, but it can also, it's on both sides of the table now. So it's a good fertilizer. It's a good source of potassium, and it also helps to deter the insects as well, especially the slugs. We can use that for the slugs. Another good thing, your eggshells. Now the eggshells I'll put on both sides of the table as well, because this can be used as to deter insects, as well as it can be used as a fertilizer. Now what I've used this to do as a fertilizer, you can make your own calcium from this. I usually crush them into a powder and then add good old vinegar and just leave it there for a while, and you'll have your own calcium that you can add water to dilute it and spray on your plants. Another one, I just happen to have this because we brought this back from the beach. So this wouldn't generally be in your house, but this is something, we are surrounded by the Caribbean Sea in Jamaica, and seaweed. This has a lot of minerals in there that your garden can benefit from. So we usually just collect the seaweed, rinse out as much salt as we can, and again, go back to our molasses. I will just leave this soaking. I have seaweed emulsion now that's probably about 2 years old. Fish emulsion that's 3 years old that I've been using from. Very good stuff. So next time you go to the beach, pick up some seaweed, all right? So these are just a few examples of things that we have in the house that we can use as fertilizers or pesticides. Some of them have dual purposes on both sides. But guys, try some of these, do a little research into them. And if you have something that I haven't mentioned here, because there are so many, just let me know in the comments and let us all learn from each other as we grow together. So thank you for joining me here in my Jamaican food forest.